After a divorce, we understand it's hard for both men and women. Although women are the main initiators for divorce, the majority of the time, the problems stem from the couples. And divorce isn't just hard for the couple, it's hard for everyone who knows that couple, all the family members that are involved, as well as the kiddos. So, one thing we haven't explored is the emotional toll it takes on men. Suicide is higher in men. And not only that, but men who go through a breakup and especially a divorce, their suicidal rate skyrockets. This is not true for women. Experts believe that women are much more supported. They have a larger network. They are better able to talk about it, to kind of plan what they're going to do, and because they initiate the majority of them, men oftentimes, because they're not involved in what's going on or the communication style is broken, they aren't aware of how close their partner is to ending things, and when it ends, it takes a severe toll on them. I want to talk about why men are more likely to commit suicide after a divorce. And then I want to finish it with what we can do to help, not only as a therapist myself, but as a community. If you're a friend of someone going through a divorce, for goodness sakes, don't put yourself on the sideline. Move forward so that you can be a support person for, yes, the mother of the child, but also watching that man, that guy, your friend, your son, or whoever it is that you know is involved or going through a divorce. The first reason divorce hurts men so badly emotionally is because their ability to express what they're feeling does not come easily. Men have a really hard time being able to say what they feel. They oftentimes don't know, and their default is to go numb. They basically don't want to talk about it. They don't have the words to explain it. They may have been shut down or emotionally neglected as kids. So when something happens like a divorce, they feel the only way they can get through it is to buck up, be stoic, and stay silent. And that's the absolute worst thing a guy can do for his mental health after or going through a divorce. A loss of identity and routine. The woman may set the routine. In fact, she usually does because her schedule is going to be more in line with the kiddos. And so the guy automatically gets on that routine. He likes that. Whether he's the provider or, he wants to be there for his kids, he's dad, he knows playtime, he knows activities, and this gives meaning to his life. So when there's a divorce, he loses that. The woman will most likely carry on that routine because she's usually the one that is with the kids most, but he loses out on that structure and that routine, and this leaves him feeling unmoored, like he's unstable. He doesn't really know what to do with himself all day after. Financial strain takes a toll. Okay, if he was the main provider, then he's going to be responsible for providing for that child for the rest of his life, even if that child doesn't live with him. And that takes a huge mental stress. And not only that, the stress of finances, of what you were doing to provide all these things are just compounded because you don't get to see your child as much. Your routine is gone, and your confidence, your ability to continue fathering in the same way is affected, and you may have self-doubt. You may worry about that. And in fact, most of the guys who are going through a divorce that I've talked to that are dads have a lot of mental strain in this area. Fatherhood can feel fragile after divorce. If there's a divorce happening, everybody is going to focus on the children and the mother usually. The court systems favor the mother too. And the issue with that isn't that everyone is going to do what's best for the mom and the kids, because with any kind of a breakup, that's where we want to help soothe trauma. But meanwhile, we're not keeping focus of what dad is going through. We usually don't think about it. He's not talking, he's staying so stoic, he acts like he's okay. Guys are really good about masking their feelings, just being numb, going with the flow, whatever. Very, very rarely do you see a guy speaking up, saying how angry he is. And if he does, he's usually fighting against the mother for custody. So it makes the battle that much worse. Men don't effectively understand what will be best. Like if he were to work with a mediator at this point, I think that would be really helpful. But just rising up and making it into a contention for the kids, for the dogs, for the belongings, yeah, that just makes it less likely that he'll get the social support that he needs. And lastly, his mental risks are really overlooked. Society doesn't look for how it affects the man. And they don't know. We're not good about seeing signs of men who are depressed, men who are anxious. And part of that is because men aren't good about talking about it. They've been socialized to think if they admit to being depressed or stressed or anxious, that makes them weaker. Those are more feminine feelings. It's not true, but that's what they've been led to believe is true. And so they try to keep a stone face, which is just classic. We overlook it. And that's why I believe they're falling through the cracks of actually going further on to being so depressed, they're suicidal. So what can we do as a society, as a therapist, as a friend, as someone who cares about the guys going through a divorce? Encourage open conversation ask men about their emotions, about relationships. What are they struggling with? Is there something on their mind they want to talk about? When you get together with them, whether you go out to dinner or coffee or a couple of drinks, talk to them. Ask them. Be brave enough to bring it up. And even if they don't want to talk about it, encourage them to. Remind them this is really important. Offering your hand and saying, can we pray about it? Do you feel like praying? This kind of support is invaluable. It's so incredible. It is the greatest gift you can give a friend or a brother going through a divorce. Promote mental health care. If you see that they're really having a hard time, they're anxious, they're depressed, they're angry, offer to make an appointment for them. Offer to go with them. Bring it up and say, listen, I know this is important because you're going to move on and you're going to heal from this. But why not we take time and really make sure you do it in a way that's going to benefit you. Advocate more for fair custody laws. The mom, it's important kids are with their moms, especially if she was carrying all of the emotional load at home. She knows more about schedules, about what they need at that point. Honoring her, but yet making it fair for dads too, so that he can be part of that child's life is really important. And that means men and women are both standing up. So really great engaged dads can continue and be great engaged dads after a divorce. And foster any kind of support network you can. Maybe there's a group for divorced dads. Maybe at your church you've happened to notice a grief support group. Offer to go with your buddy or your brother. Just say, hey, listen, my church is having this. How about we go? And if you're willing to drive and you make an effort, you really put your intention into it. And even if he tries to shut that down, you don't accept that. You say, no, come on. I really think it would be good for us. He'll come around. And that is the greatest act of love when you make this person so important that you don't let them get off with not saying anything. You open them up. You encourage dialogue. If you can go out for a run with them or shoot hoops, You can talk during that time. All of that is beneficial. They're getting their workout, they're getting rid of some of that anxiety and depression, they're getting their socialization with you, and they're able to talk to you. I think out of everything a good friend could do, that would be at the top of my list. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.